Councilor Weezer. I'm joined by Roberto, who went to Cal. Councilmember Dennis Zine is the Planning, Land Use and Management Committee. Councilmember Ed Reyes cannot make it today. Mr. Mejia.
Yes, sir.
Can you go through the agenda, please?
Sure. Item 1, Councilman, is a motion Cardenas Perez directing the City Planning Department and DOE to prepare a general plan amendment.
Okay, I understand we continue that to 11/17.
Correct, Councilman.
Okay, next item, please.
The next item is item 2. It's a report from the zoning administrator. It's the recommendation as to the implementation of a state model landscape ordinance in response to a motion Alarcon Cardenas.
Okay, we're going to note and file this report. Is there anything that you need to tell us that is outstanding or anything you need to bring to our attention at this time?
Tom Roth from the Planning Department. No, the Planning Department has begun working very hard on adopting an ordinance that implements the state's direction. The state's model was only approved by the state, though, on September 10th of this year. So we've begun a working group internally, and also we're working with DWP and sanitation to cross-reference all of the city's landscaping guidelines and ordinances so we see where we're deficient and where we need to upgrade our current landscape guidelines. Our current landscape ordinance, I do want to stress, does not cover single-family homes and does not cover Parks Department properties. That's going to be changed with the recommendation of the state. So those are things that we need to examine more carefully.
Okay, at this time I move to note and file the report.
Actually, Councilman, you may want to move to approve the ZA's recommendation.
Okay, so move to approve the ZA's recommendations.
Okay.
Thank
you.
No objections, so ordered. Next item.
Item 3, Councilman, is a report from the Planning Department. It's to effectuate the removal of a building line in CD3.
Move to approve this item. There's no cards on here. Any objections? So ordered. And I understand there's been a request to continue item number 4. Is that correct, Mr. Mejia?
Yes, Councilman. I believe the clerk indicated it would be December 1st in Plum and December 15th in Council. Okay,
this item is going to be continued in Plum to December 1st and in City Council December 15th. Okay. That item's continued. Next item.
Next item, Councilman. Sorry.
Excuse me, Councilman. I believe there's cards on item number 4.
Okay, that item's going to be continued, so these people wishing to speak on this item will have an opportunity to speak at that item. I don't believe there's going to be anything that changes between now and then, so I'm going to, yes.
Terry Kaufman, Messiah City Attorney's Office. Under the Brown Act, people have the right to speak on any item on the agenda.
Even if it's continued?
Even if it's continued.
Okay.
So if they, you can ask people if they still want to speak, even though it's being continued, or if they want to hold their comments until December 1st.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll do that. So let me call Aaron Epstein. And as I call your name, you have the opportunity to either speak today or speak on December 1st. Now, would they be, having been given an opportunity to speak already, can they speak again on December 1st, City Attorney?
If it's something new, if the comments are repetitive, then you can always hold those comments. But if they want to speak on some new information, they could do that.
Okay.
You can put a time limit on today's comments as well.
Great, thank you very much. So if you wish to speak today or hold your comments until December 1st, let us know as we call your name. Aaron Epstein.
Yeah, thank you. I will come back, hopefully. This is the second time I've been down here, but there is one item I would like to correct. It starts off by saying that Mr. Andrew Schwartz is filed appeal for Hollywood Heritage Incorporated. I am a board member of Hollywood Heritage Incorporated. I have attended all the meetings of Hollywood Heritage Incorporated. We have never, ever, ever discussed this issue, and it is erroneous for Mr. Schwartz to have allowed his name, the name of Hollywood Heritage, to appear on the agenda. And I do request that when the new agenda is prepared, that the name Hollywood Heritage be deleted. And there's another speaker here that hopefully will back me up. It's Mr. Doug Haynes, who is also a member of Hollywood Heritage. And Doug, I hope you'll verify that that was never discussed in a Hollywood Heritage meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Daniel Wright.
Good day, honorable council members. Daniel Wright, 215 North Marengo Avenue, Pasadena, 91101, on behalf of the La Mirada Neighborhood Association of Hollywood. Council members, as a longtime municipal law attorney and environmental land use attorney, and since this item is going to be continued, I just wanted to make some general comments today. I would not want to be the poor city attorney or a target attorney trying to defend the record in this case. I want to encourage the council members and their staff, and most importantly, the city attorney's office, to carefully review yesterday's letter submitted by the La Mirada organization. Most of the specific plan exceptions proposed by Target rest very solidly on Target's completely unsubstantiated claim that there are, quote, engineering and business model constraints that prevent the construction of underground parking, so that this Target building must have 2 levels of above-ground parking with a store on the 3rd level rising to nearly 80 feet, in complete violation of the specific plan adopted by this community. The La Mirada letter submitted for the record today provides pictorial and comparison data that shows that other nearby projects across the street and up the street have underground parking and surface parking and have successful retail businesses. In fact, the record now contains pictures of the Assistance League of Southern California's building, a nonprofit that provides services for poor families and low-income seniors. They're immediately behind this site, right behind. If a community nonprofit can afford to provide subterranean parking in its own building, but a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Target cannot pencil out the business model, there's something wrong. And therefore, we encourage you to look at the record carefully. It's indefensible at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Plotkin.
Good afternoon. I'm Richard Plotkin. I'm a land use consultant, but previously, for 20 years, I was a city planner for the city of Los Angeles. And most of my projects during that period were specific plans in the related land use tool called Community Design Overlay Districts, so I can speak with some expertise about specific plans and in support of the appeal. My explanation to the public has always been that specific plans are essentially an elaborate queue condition. They're efforts to restrict zoning either by use or building envelope or height in order to respond to excessive development that was permitted by existing zoning. Now, this is the case for the Vermont Western Transit Oriented District Specific Plan, and in this case, the 8 exceptions which Target has requested, as well as 5 design exceptions, need to comply with the overall goals and purposes of the plan. And the argument of the appellants, I think, is extremely valid, that the applicant, as well as the Department of City Planning, doesn't rise to the burden of proof of demonstrating that these 8 exceptions and 5 design exceptions are consistent with the goals. One argument they do make that I strongly contest is that the plan encourages flexibility. But flexibility has to be within the context of the plan. Flexibility does not mean carte blanche to do whatever you want. And in this case, we know what Target wants, and that is to be able to build 2 stories of parking above ground, and then have shopping on the 3rd level and contend that this is pedestrian and transit friendly, which it is not. I'll be back with a much more detailed analysis in December. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ziggy Kreis? Don't understand the writing of the last name.
Ziggy Cruz, Z-I-G-G-Y, last name Cruz, K-R-U-S-E.
K-R-U-S-E?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I'm here today representing Robert Blue, who is an appellant in this case, and he is hoping for your support on this one. Mr. Blue was here on October 6th when this meeting was, continued until now, and here I am. Anyway, these are some of the highlights of Mr. Blue's objections. Since the project does not include residential units, the height variance should not be granted. That's one of them. The height of this project blocks the views of the Hollywood Hills, the Hollywood sign, the Griffith Park, and so on. Currently, these views can be seen from Western Ave and from the neighbors behind the project side. The height of the project affects the residents surrounding the project. It also affects sensitive and historical properties, such as the property of the Assistance League. The next point that he points out is the contradictions of this target. One of the key elements was to require the option of allowing customers to request home delivery. This encourages walk-in and transit-oriented customers to shop at Target without driving a car to haul back the purchases. It also is important for senior citizens and to reduce the automobile usage to go shopping. Now, the excuse that Target has a website is absolutely ridiculous. It's not an eBay where people can only shop online. This is a Target, and if that's the argument that we don't want to have people use the bus, well, they can shop online, then why put the Target there in the first place? We have a Target down on Santa Monica and La Brea. So that excuse sort of flies out of the window. With the free delivery, customers can make a last-minute purchase, select and pay for their merchandise, and receive delivery the same day. Other stores do it, why not Target? This is a benefit to Target and the community and would increase goodwill traffic to the store by people who either do not have a car like myself. I'm a transit-oriented person. I use the bus. I came here by subway, but I will not go and purchase anything at Target if I have to schlep it back. So I think the rest of the comments Mr. Blue will reserve until the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug Haynes?
Hi, Doug Haynes of the La Mirada Avenue Neighborhood Association. Just a couple of things real quick. Aaron is correct. I'm also a member of the board of Hollywood Heritage, and Andy Schwartz's appeal is not supported by Hollywood Heritage. I think it's just a clerical error in the fact that he wrote in his appeal, I'm president of Hollywood Heritage, and so it was misinterpreted. So I don't think there was any intent to do it incorrectly. I wanted to say, secondly, I put a couple of objections into the record, another letter, and also one thing just to end with, there's a recycling center on this site that Target controls the lease for, has controlled the lease for a long time. It's been ordered shut down by Building and Safety. The Board of Building and Safety Commissioners denied an appeal to continue the operation. It's in criminal court right now. Target has refused to shut down this illegal operation. The council office has been trying to shut down. Everyone's been trying to shut it down. I included a photo of it, chronology of what's been going on, and a letter from our commanding officer, Captain Gamala, about how we all want this shut down. And it would be great if Target actually stepped up to the plate and we didn't have to expend as a city thousands and thousands of dollars just to get this illegal recycling center closed. It's their responsibility. If they want to be good neighbors, then it's an opportunity for them to show it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That ends our public comment. Again, this item will be heard in Plum December 1st and then by full council on December 15th. Next item?
Next item, council members, is an appeal by Sam Cordova. He's appealing an action of the Board of Building and Safety as it relates to an application to export 9,850 cubic yards of earth for the property at 13140 North Gladstone Avenue in CD7.
Okay, is there staff here to present this item?
Thank you very much, Councilman.
I believe this is the appellant.
Pardon?
Are you the appellant, sir?
I'm the appellant, Sam Cordova.
Yes.
Yes, sir, can you, we will call you up right now. We first want to hear from our planning staff or our building and safety staff.
Sure.
Thank you. We'll call you up in just a moment, sir.
Yes, that's quite all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cora Johnson, Commission Secretary for the Board of Building and Safety Commission. On October 6th, we had a public hearing for a haul route to import 9,850 cubic yards from an adjacent site on Gladstone to the subject site. There were 4 commissioners present. All 4 voted for the haul route to find that the MND sufficiently meets the secret requirements and to approve the haul route. Now, one of the main issues that was raised at the hearing was the dust, and the MND covered, they gave conditions to sufficiently cover the dust issue. And we recommend that you deny the appeal. And I'm here for any questions.
Okay, and succinctly, to put it briefly, your recommendations to deny the appeal based on what?
Based on the fact that the appeal has no basis, the haul route is basically taking dirt from the adjacent site to the site next door, and it doesn't affect any streets or anything. It's just...
Okay. And have they been cited at all for any of the hauling up to this point?
Not for the hauling, no.
They have not for the hauling?
There is an order to comply that the adjacent site on 13140 Gladstone Avenue, there was stockpiling on the site. And Building and Safety, the grading department has been working with the applicant. They are complying with all of the conditions. The only condition left is to get their soils report approved, and that has been submitted to the grading division as well.
Okay, and they are cooperating with the order to comply?
Definitely.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we'll go to public comment.
Councilman, actually, you may want to listen to the appeal.
Yes, Sam Cordova, the appellant.
Yes, sir. I marvel at the misrepresentations in this case. Let me tell you, there's an order to comply that has been disregarded, and one of our people that we pay taxes for, comes up here and says they've been taken care of. That's a major lie. Read the order to comply, for heaven's sakes. This has been a travesty of justice. Number one, the Building and Safety Commission doesn't even know what they approved, because they approved to go from 13122 to 13140 Gladstone Avenue, but there's 13130 in between. They did not approve that. They didn't even know what they didn't even know about the order to comply when they agreed to this. It's been a travesty of justice. Number one, let me tell you, there's 3 reasons why this thing should be turned down. 1, lack of notification to people affected. There's a draft here by the city clerk's office that says vesting track number 60872. The address 13159 Wheeler Avenue, 13140 Gladstone Avenue. Now you go up here to what they approved, and the same track number 60872. Now the project location is 13140 North Gladstone Avenue. They didn't give notice to anyone on Wheeler Avenue. That's egregious. That's a violation of your own code. But there's another reason why this thing should be turned down, and a hearing. Let us have a hearing. The Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, fined Richmond American Homes, $795,000 last year. One of the conditions was that they would not violate the stormwater runways. That's exactly what they've done. Look at the first paragraph of the order to comply. Read it, please. It says, a waterway has been impeded. They have created a hazardous condition. It's still there. I have pictures. I have pictures of oil being put on there. I have pictures of granulated asphalt there. Michael Smith from Department of Building and Safety has pictures. I've told Mr. Chan, I've told Mr. Steinbach, come and see this. It's on the site, for heaven's sakes. They dumped it for a year and a half. And I am their nearest neighbor. I never once complained. Never once complained. I wanted to be a good neighbor. They have not been good neighbors. They play hardball. Let me tell you what one of them told me when I tried. I invited them for breakfast. I invited them for coffee. They said, we have a lot of money, and you don't. And that's a fact. We don't have a lot of money. But we have what we should be applied for us is equity. We need another hearing. That's all. We have information. We have pictures.
So if you could wrap up your presentation, please.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Please give us another hearing. This is a travesty of injustice to have that notification, egregious violation, major infractions on that property next door to me.
Okay.
Please don't allow it. Give us a hearing. That's all we ask. And I assure you that as good neighbors, we can come to some accommodation. I spoke to a young lady yesterday, very nicely. I says, let's talk. Why is it you people don't want to talk? It's good neighbors. We should. That's all we want. Give us, please, another hearing.
Thank you. Michael Gonzalez.
Here's something else.
Yes,
There's
sir.
an injunction that will be filed with the assistance of EPA. You cannot allow this to go on. You cannot, because they've impeded waterways.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Michael Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, honorable council members, staff. My name is Michael Gonzalez, representing Richmond American Homes. This appeal should be denied. If you look at the face of the appeal, it relates to 1,000 cubic yards of stockpile that's now been addressed. It's part of the order to comply. Our client has knocked down the stockpile, hydroseeded it, obtained the necessary permits, and has remediated that condition on the site. We've also reached out to the adjacent homeowners, Mr. Cordova, Mr. Forbes, and tried to accommodate some of their concerns. We did meet with them yesterday. This is the first startup project that Richmond American Homes is doing in the entire state. It's the biggest subdivision being moved forward in the city of LA. It's going to create a lot of jobs. Frankly, we shouldn't even be here today. They're moving dirt from contiguous land across property boundaries, not utilizing any city streets. Why there was a haul route approval in the first instance is a little unclear, because we're not going to at all touch any public right-of-way. If you look at the photograph attached to the letter I submitted yesterday, you will see that the land is contiguous and that the land does not at all require us to use public streets to move the dirt. The import and export is going from what I'm calling the 61492 portion to the 60872 portion. All 9,850 cubic yards are going to stay within those boundaries. The haul route was also originally approved in December of 2007. It expired because the client mothballed the project due to the economic conditions. So this approval was given once. It's now given twice. This project also had other discretionary actions approved in 2005. So there have been a series of hearings on the project. We are here to answer any questions, and also we have our engineer here to answer any technical questions if necessary.
Great. Thank you. Next speaker is Anthony Stu Moog.
afternoon, member of board. I'm here.
Pronounce your name. You are Anthony Stu?
Siu. What? Yes.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm working. I'm the project engineer on this job, and I'm here just see if anybody have any technical questions. And the only thing I'm going to offer for you to look at in this drawing right here, so that you know that this job is not crossing any streets at all. This one right here is 61429, and this project right here is 60872. And the only reason that we use the address of Gladstone's is a portions of 60872 is actually fronting Gladstone right here, but majority of the job site for 60872 actually is fronting Willow Avenue. So the building safety assigned 60872 using Gladstone address. So maybe the appearance is, misunderstood that all the dirt will be taken to this piece of property right here. So most of the dirt, about 9850 cubic yard, is going to be moved from here, 61429 to the north of 60872.
Great, thank you. Ivan Forbes.
Good afternoon, council members and staff. My name is Ivan Forbes, 13444 Leach Street, Sylmar, California, 91342. I am a neighbor to this properties that are being developed. This company is a nationwide company stretching as far east anyway as West Virginia. They certainly know that before they perform any operation, they must make application for a permit. Once they have done that, then the city will hold a hearing and notify the neighborhood of what is to be expected. Without the application being filed, there was no hearing filed, and therefore work was done without a permit. A nationwide company doing work without a permit. Does that make sense? I don't think so. All right, the area there is east of my house, and that is like a wind tunnel. When the Santa Ana winds come up, they come right down and they blow across my house. We have a solar house, probably the first one in LA, with a wind generator. That is not affected by what the wind carries down. We have photovoltaic cells, and they are concerned when this dust and stuff that came down, it collected on the photovoltaic cells and on our roof. We have a metal roof, and we don't make as much electricity when we have a film of stuff on the cells.
Thank you, sir.
I think my time is up.
Yes.
I didn't hear any bell ring on other people speaking. But at any rate, there has been no proper hearing made, and it's my request that there be proper hearings and the proper neighborhood members be notified. I have more to speak, but I will relinquish my time.
Thank you, sir. Beverly Kenworth.
Good afternoon, council members. Beverly Kenworthy with the LA Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today to support Richmond American Homes and the denial of this appeal for a haul route. While it's clear that this appeal has no merit and therefore should be denied, we believe this case is an excellent example of how difficult and frustrating it is to do business in the city of Los Angeles. This case, I would argue, should never really be here before you. Requiring a haul route on a contiguous piece of property just for the sole reason they have different tract numbers is a very broad and, I believe, incorrect interpretation of the code. Had this property not been subdivided, this would be a simple cut and fill to balance the site. No public streets are going to be used, and therefore there's no route to speak of. Instead, here we are using precious city resources during severe economic crisis. I'd also like to point out that there's absolutely no fee associated with the filing of this appeal. In addition, we have a developer who has financing, who wants to build needed housing in the city of Los Angeles, who will create construction jobs and tax revenue for our city. This project will have a direct impact on our economy. Instead, they've been forced to delay their project, spend money on an unnecessary haul route, and now this appeal. We urge the committee to deny the appeal, and we respectfully ask the Department of Building and Safety to review their policies in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from my colleague? No questions, comments. I'll move that we deny the appeal. Having heard and read these items, I don't see any merit upon which to approve this appeal, so a motion to deny the appeal. Seconded by Mr. Zine, so ordered. Next item.
Next two items are city attorney reports, Councilman, that are requested for closed session.
Okay, we have two closed session items. We could ask that we clear the chambers and only allow those personnel that are either staff members of the council members or city attorney's office and the relevant departments that need to be in chambers at this time.